guys? Welcome to Fangs Out. We have a special video tonight. What we're doing tonight is that we're gonna talk about basically, we're continuing our horror month, talking about mental illnesses related movies, but we're combining it with, the analyzing the franchise segment. So it's gonna be basically it's a video that fits into both categories. I kind of halted the kind of like thinking about this, like I was gonna join in, and this is the perfect time to talk about the Silence of the Lambs. And to make it short and sweet, the review, there's nothing I can add to the review of this film. Superb acting, remarkable story, great chemistry between Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. The great villains, of Buffalo Bill and Hannibal Lecter, and it was beautifully shot. I mean, Oscar winning performances. I mean, what else can we say? I mean, it's one of the best horror films of all time. Having said that, this video more of a review is just gonna be a character analysis, and because we're talking about the mental aspects, I'm gonna pretend I'm a shrink today. So I'm gonna be putting in the couch, the psychiatric couch. We're gonna put the few people of this movie into the couch and psychoanalyze them and see how they are, and I think that's a very it's a very valid and interesting thing to see what the problems are having. And the people I want to have on the couch are, of course, we want to have Anthony Hopkins, we want to have, Hannibal Lecter, but we also want to know the main antagonist, which is Buffalo Bill. We need to, see what makes him thick, and we also want to have, Jodie Foster. A lot of people wouldn't think that, but remember, Lecter is the reason that she's agreeing is because she sees that she has some problems. She has a trauma that happened to her, and we're gonna discuss her pathology, if there is some, or if just, or this is more like a traumatic experience that she went through, and we can talk about it certainly. But I mean, number one, we gotta talk about our main guy. Number one, we gotta talk about Hannibal Lecter, masterfully played by the great Anthony Hopkins. But first of all, we need to find out what's going on. What makes him thick, and why does he do the things he does? I believe that there's some Ed Gein inspiration there in the character of Lecter. So we know that Ed Gein, it's that he kills some women and exhumes some bodies, and apparently he had induced into horrible things. One of them could be the fact of some cannibalism going on. I think the other person that we can associate in real life is Jeffrey Dahmer, and basically what we get from this film and other parts of the franchise is that, well, Lecter, he gets his kicks by consuming flesh, and he seems to have some kind of moral character because he punishes, the wicked. We see that a lot in Hannibal, where he kills the ones who either mistreat him or it's a bad character of in society that such as we see, such as child abusers, child molesters, other type of criminals, or just people who abuse their fortunes or something about. So he has some kind of warped moral compass where he says that these people should be disposed of, and what best to serve that, the fact that he likes to do that. What would drive a person to do that? If Mr. Lecter was able to answer that, it would bring the fact that we see on Hannibal Rising. We see that, in fact, that spoilers, so spoilers will be done in this video, that he ate his sister, not willingly. He was forced to feed on her, and because of he was trapped by Russians, and when they home invaded him when he was a child, and his parents were no longer around, and they basically forced him to eat, in order to keep him alive, and I guess the point was to keep him alive long enough if he may become the next meal. In cultures, what I read, it's there's the Native American belief of Wendigo, which it features in another movie called Ravenous, which happens to be about cannibalism as well. And I done a review. Feel free to search for that and check out my review of Ravenous, one of my first reviews, I believe. It's a long time ago. And we see that when a warrior defeats another, and then it's his heart, gets his strength, his force, his life force, in I don't know if that's on but there's some kind of deep pathology that I couldn't understand. I'm not a doctor, but what would drive a man? I mean, I guess in his sister force fed, but you would think he would never want to do that again. But that obviously tipped him over the edge at an early age. If childs are abused and forced to do that at an early age, I could imagine how it will all go downhill. But then still, he became a top student and graduated as a medical doctor, as a psychiatrist, out of all things, and yet he was probably way more sick than any of his patients. I want your thoughts on what's wrong with Dr. Lecter. If as Dr. Lecter, is there any way to cure him? If you're a psychiatrist and you come across this video, because I'm not, I'm just a movie critic, I'm a journalist, but if you know what's wrong, or how to combat, if there a cure, or if not, what can be done for somebody that engages in that type of behavior. But it's very interesting. Then we go to the second person, which is Buffalo Bill. And Buffalo Bill has just a different type of mentality. He's not an eater, but he wants to change. He wants to change into a woman, but he's not a transsexual person. He just fantasizes being a woman, but it's killing women. So manufacture a suit to boom so that he can look like a woman. Now that is very disturbing on its own, and how would we understand um, you know the the rationale. Ted Levine, by the way, Levine. I'm sorry. He just masterfully plays James Gunn, but the name of Buffalo Bill, his nickname, and he lures women into vans and things like that, clubs her over the head, um, and then he meticulously, you know, starves them right enough so that he can have enough skin material so that he can make his dress. And wow, I mean, I never heard. I kept trying to find to see if real psychiatrists um, were found to base the cases on real cases of to see this pathology. But this is a very, very tough case, and his murderous mentality and his inability to deal with the backlash of it, and his antisocial behavior when he's engaged by Clarice Darling, our heroine there. He doesn't know how to much react or do much in fact. So once again, but just so interesting. I mean, him and you know um, Hannibal, goes out of his way. Well, he's kind of tricked into helping Clarice, but at the end, he really helps. Shut the case, um, and capture him before he made more killings. And but it's just remarkable. Finally, we got Clarice Darling and Jodie Foster. Once again, incredible acting. Um, Plays this very rightful, tough woman who has pretty much had to fend for her life. She lost, parents when she was very young and went to live in some relatives that treated her good, but she went through a traumatic experience when she saw that the lambs were being slaughtered for market, and she just grabbed a baby one and tried to save her, but she couldn't save it. And she believed that if she could just save one, she could save them all. And so she's just from being protectful. Does that kind of goes into maybe a phobia or a trauma, childhood trauma that that's why she wanted to become a cop so that she can help people because she was unable to save the lambs. I think that shows a lot of love in her, that even for an animal she would be able to sacrifice her position at the farm, and being all alone, she just felt that she had to carry this animal out. Very interesting stuff. I don't know, I guess what was the cure. I don't know if she got resolution or she got better, but you know, 'cause she did get to help. You know, the woman at last, the senator's daughter, I believe, that was trapped in the end. So yeah, I mean, this is a very psychological film, and all, you know, all the main characters here were just have some deep psychological trauma, especially Lecter and Buffalo Bill. Leave your thoughts in the comment section there, and if you like this film, which I imagine you probably do because you're clicking on it, don't leave me if you didn't like it. Let me know. There's very few people that don't like it. This is a masterful film. But and your thoughts about mental illnesses, leave them out there. Expect more great content, a little bit different content coming up. But we are going to be continuing in the horror month. So take it easy. See you next video.